brothers. Welcome, sisters. Our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, CARICOM nationals. Anyone who happen to get onto us, communicate with us, hear us. Welcome to our program On Target. And you are welcome to participate. You can pick up the number 4420175 and call, or you can use social media and post and communicate with us. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything. Sometimes we go with what is just trending, but you can interrupt us anytime and introduce a new subject matter, internationally, regionally, locally, whether it is science fiction, metaphysics, religion, whatever issue that you want to speak about, you are welcome on our program. We are on RealFM 91.9 and 91.5. We are on We Noise FM 94.9 in Brooklyn, New York. We are on YouTube and Facebook. And you could share us, subscribe to RealFM, like our program, share our program. Encourage us, encourage others to hear our program. You could also challenge us. You don't have to agree with us. You could disagree with us. We welcome that too. And as we promised yesterday, and we hope our brother is nearby and can call immediately, that we will discuss Maurice Bishop. It is opportune, it is current, because we believe the present Prime Minister, Deacon Mitchell, want to ride on a cheapened form of Maurice Bishop. I don't know, plagiarism might be the best word I could use for that. Deacon don't want to fight to develop an image for himself. He wants to be a parasite on people's popularity. And he wants to use Maurice Bishop. Maurice Bishop was a good orator. He spoke very well. Tall, handsome, red man. And people liked Maurice Bishop. He was eloquent. But where politics is concerned, I believe Maurice Bishop was a common criminal. He lacked any sense of common decency. He was a criminal. And this is what my brother disagreed with. He said Maurice Bishop is a hero. So I want to encourage him this morning. Call Ollie. Don't wait for the last punch in the day. And tell me why you're advancing that Maurice Bishop is a hero. You believe the ends justify the means. You have to tell us why. Because even Deacon, fighting to promote Maurice Bishop as a hero, putting Heroes Day, wants to dilute the significance of the church. The same man that recently said church and state is separate and morality is a private thing. Boise Singh is not considered a hero. He's a criminal. Abdul Malik is not considered a hero. The butcher of the Congo wanted to rip the skin of over 20 million Africans so he could live a luxurious life in Belgium. It was the imperial monarchy in Europe that appealed to Belgium to stop the butcher of the Congo. His action was unconscionable. Over 20 million Africans suffer at his hand. He was not a hero. He was a butcher. Adolf Hitler was not a hero. Yes, Adolf Hitler built airports and ports and railway. And he instilled some pride in Germans. Even today, some Germans want to hail Adolf. But Adolf was a criminal. He thought the black race was the worst race. He said he was going to use them for slaves. He was accused of killing over 6 million Jews, bring them in the gas chamber because shooting them with bullets was tiring. So he decided to gas chamber them. In Grenada, Maurice Bishop jailed 3,000 Grenadians. And I'm only speaking about those Maurice Bishop signed the order. Over 5,000 went in jail. But Bishop did not sign the order for 5,000. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good day, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
I'd like to open back, I just join you.
Go right ahead.
Now,
the radio in the back, you have to turn it down a little.
Okay.
Because you're getting the feedback. I know that people are wrong there and they want to hear. But you have to turn it down a little. Otherwise, you're getting the feedback from it. Yeah?
Now, I glad Maurice choose Bishop to imitate because I know that Bishop hurt more people in Grenada than whoever was loyal to him or whoever loved his policy. I know he hurt a lot of people. Don't mind, I was one of the escapees. I got away, but a lot of people is still hurting from some of the action of the New Jewel movement of Bishop. So he can choose him for popularity, thinking he could gravitate to Maurice and get some of Maurice's supporters. I believe that's what he wants. But Maurice was a coward, although I agree with you, but he's a criminal, but he was a coward to a point.
He was very coward.
When he was demonstrating against Eric Machugeri that he don't want independence, his majority of his demonstrators was children.
Women and children.
I was even invited to go to the demonstration and I said that. And I was beaten for that because they were targeting certain schools. When you look at St. George's Street, filled with children, not much big people. Gary must go. Gary must go. Gary must go. I wonder if his present leader know what's really going on. I guess he read about the gentleman. This man is a criminal, and I have no apology in saying that. I could say that all the time. This morning, Mr. Pierre, I asked a question. I know since 1967, I made my first political address in Grenada on the 24th of February as a little boy. They had to put me on a chair to meet the microphone. And I know government does be saying things what does not be true. Or it may not be true when they get into office and it will happen. But they're hoping that one day they're going to do it. It is the first time in my political career I see a leader make impossible promises and people believe. This is why I said we don't need a third party because it will be harder to make a decision. The question was asked if there is room for a third party beside the NDC and the NNP. I said no. And the reason why I said no, some of us not political educated enough. We're not political educated. Although we have all this kind of technology now, we don't listen properly to what leaders say. Mr. Pierre, could you believe a leader win by lie and want to rule by lie? That's a great question. I want somebody to answer. You're ruling by telling lies to the administration, to the public, And when you get into office, you still want to continue to let the majority of what you're saying to the people be lies. So I want to say this is disrespect to the people of Grenada, Carrico and Pidimati. You have no respect for the people of this country by continuing to lie. When I say that, activists and some men tell me, well, if he cannot lie again, some of us easy to buy. So you see, that's what the target is. Some of us easy to buy. He buy your own ministers, so then he hoping to buy members of the public. So the policy is dangerous for this country. And I will come on the program another time because I have to give reason to prove why this is the most corrupt, why this is the most vindictive government I ever see since 1967 in this country. And I want anybody to challenge me. I have to give you a chance to somebody. Thank you.
Yes, my friend. And the gentleman yesterday, he always take issue when we say Maurice Bishop is a criminal. This is a forum to advance arguments. You believe that the excesses of Maurice Bishop justify his success. So tell us. And you are not challenging what we say because you know it's true. But you say in the end, justify the means. Barbados had an international airport. St. Lucia had Hiwanora and Fiji. Antigua had international airport. Bermuda, a number of smaller islands and small islands in the Caribbean had international airport. None of their citizens went to prison for that. Nobody was jailed. Maurice Bishop signed the order for over 3,000 Grenadians to go to prison without charge, without trial, and without an opportunity to defend themselves. And if anyone do not believe what I'm saying is the truth, ask Tillman Thomas. He was in jail too. Maurice Bishop, one of the justification for his opposition against Gary set up a law, I think, that you have to deposit $20,000 in the consolidated fund if you wanted to operate a newspaper. Gary said that the newspaper is justification. They're using the newspaper to libel people. And when you take them to court, they declare bankruptcy. So if you want to start a newspaper, you must deposit $20,000. Well, obviously, it was an attempt to muzzle the opposition. So that created a lot of momentum in Grenada and the Caribbean. When Maurice Bishop come in power, he didn't pass a law about money. He locked up Lloyd Noel and Tillman Thomas and Leslie Pierre for starting the Vice. They was in jail for years. Now call me and tell me how that could be justified. Maurice Bishop was a deceiver. He lied to the people. The caller said he was a coward, and I agree with the caller. There is no hero in the world from way back when in history that hide behind women and children. Maurice Bishop always hide behind women and children. Every demonstration this coward had, he made certain that he had scores and scores of children with him. MacDonald College in St. Patrick's was one of the most militant schools in Grenada. MacDonald College. And they would send transport in the school to collect students to go and demonstrate. One of the students resisted because that student in the school claimed he was a gay. They beat him. The girl who led the beating, her father was once the ambassador of Suriname in the days of Maurice Bishop. But later on, he ran out of favor with the coup d'etat experiment. They beat him. So the government had to send police in McDonald College on a daily basis for that student from Mount Rich to go to school. One teacher in the school that spoke on that student's behalf. One teacher. The school was so deeply politicized that the teachers supported the children to beat him. And those who did not support it was afraid for their life. One teacher that showed his displeasure and disagreed with what was done to the student. So the government then had to send police in the school on a daily basis for that student to go to school. Maurice Bishop shut down the press. There was no press. He came on radio and he said, if he find you spreading rumor, and if you say they say, he locking up thee. The mouth and the voices and the rights of Grenadians was taken away. What Maurice Bishop did to the Rastafarians, how could it be justified? Maurice Bishop went around with the Rastafarians and he told them he's going to legalize weed as soon as he come in power. And the Rasta joined Maurice Bishop. The small Muslim group we had in Grenada joined Maurice Bishop. He smoked weed with the Rasta. He eat ital out of the Ibashi. That is when I started to get suspicious about Maurice Bishop. In our discussion, we found out that Maurice Bishop was not encouraging the Rastaman to send his children to school. Although he mingled and ate with them, and they gave him his support, Maurice Bishop never encouraged Rastaman to send the children in Babylon school. At that time, individuals in the Rastafarian movement was giving the daughters under 16-year-old to marry to other Rastamen. Maurice Bishop was aware of that. He never objected, and he was a lawyer. So in our discussion around that time, we became very suspicious that Bishop was not genuine. You see, Eric Gary believed in education. 28 schools in 13 and a half years. And he constantly encourages people, educate your children, send them to school, send them to school. So school, the fact of sending children in school was like a mantra that resonated among the poor of the poor. Maurice Bishop never encouraged Rastafarians to educate the children. He never speak out against the practice of infant marriage, or not infant, but teenage marriage, because there was under 16 years, there was evidence of 13 and 14-year-old children getting married, the girls, in ceremonies that was not even legal. So in our discussion that time, we found out Maurice Bishop to be a bandit. We say he can't be right. No intellectual from the Caribbean ought to encourage the poor of the poor not to get an education. During 1979, 1983, Maurice Bishop turned against the Rastafarians, and over 300 of them was sent to the cow pen. The Rasta call it the cow pen, but Maurice Bishop says Hopeville. And they used to give them fig and pork and rice. They were treated very badly. There was a group of Rasta, when they go in and bed, they make them take out all their clothes and they march in them. And they also laugh at those they believe that were not well blessed. Yes, scholar, welcome. Those they believe that were not well blessed.
Hello?
Yes, my brother, go right ahead. Your radio in the back is going to affect us. So you have to close down the device in the back.
Still hearing it?
Go ahead now.
All right, good. Yeah, I'm so disappointed in you because I don't know what you expect the government to do now. The Prime Minister says that history will be taught, Grenadian history will be taught in the schools. Your history will be different to all the books them fellas going to write. So what's going to happen with my children?
I would not encourage my children to waste time with history in school. There are some subjects that I'm not encouraging any child I have influence over to waste time in school with. Like trickery.
Because I know definitely what you're saying here, I know it is true because I was around. But the history that them fellas is talking about is not according to or like what you're saying right now.
Our children must know when monkey write his story, monkey always right.
Monkey always right.
That is their story. A wicked story, evil story.
Them fellas writing books to teach my children in school. You will have to continue as much as possible educating us. Thank you very much.
Yes. So I encouraging my caller to call this morning. I told you we're going to discuss this topic. I'm advancing the view that Maurice Bishop was a common criminal. He was not a hero. There is no hero that could hide behind women and children. Look at the difference in the two leaders. When Eric Gary was carrying out demonstration, was men that demonstrated, not women. Men. When Gary called on the voluntary constabularies for the protection of human rights, he said, each one bring a friend. Tell a friend to bring 3 friends. No women, no children. Every time, Maurice Bishop participating in demonstration, he made certain there was women and children. That's the difference. Even on the 4th, the market was prepared After Maurice Bishop was released from his house, Butler House, not in Mount Weldale, they prepared the market with microphone for him to speak. Maurice Bishop went on the foot. He used the children as cover on the foot. And I dare them to take me on when I speak. When I speak, I challenge, I dare. Vincent Noel was giving out community. He was making statement. He said, we have a car here with guns. We want 200 people to follow the car. We want to reestablish communication with the rest of the world. And by the time he said that, man, people race. They go and take over the telecommunication place. They're in charge of it now to reestablish communication with the rest of the world. Some of the individuals that come out back went to the car where they have the gun now. Maurice Bishop used the children on the foot to take out guns from soldiers they believe who was not for them. By that time, some of them was slapped up. Maurice Bishop brought the children on the foot. Bishop was well aware. He knew that he evoked the Angola option. When they asked him what is going to happen, he said the revolution going to continue, but not with everybody. Maurice Bishop was preparing for slaughter on the foot. But he made certain that he had the women and children there to protect him. He never ordered them out. Fitzroy Bain come on the foot. Celebration. Norris Bain come on the foot. They was not on the foot originally. They came there. It appears Maurice Bishop was calling in his troops. And while that was going on, Vincent Noel was the one that coming out from the room with Bishop periodically to give community or information or instruction. When the crowd say, let's go for Radix, Vincent Noel said, don't even think about it. Where Radix is heavily guarded. We can't release him now. It was Vincent Noel that come out and gave the other Bernard Code, Ewart Lane, Liam James. He called some other name I can't remember. I'm going to stop calling now because I can't remember. But he may call about 7 or 8 names. Report to the nearest police station. And then individuals start asking why the men want to fight, why they don't reason. And within that bunch of individuals, the discussion comes. Who in Grenada could bring them together? Trade union couldn't bring them together. Names start coming up. The Bar Association never had a track record in Grenada of settling anything amicable. It's a group of legal vultures that prey on the suspected. And up to today, they continue like that. 2 names come up. Gloria Payne Banfield and Miss Steele. 2 permanent secretary. A man say, ascertain that these people could mediate. These 2 people might afraid for themselves. These 2 women might afraid for themselves. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
I have a little program for you. As a founding member of NNP from day digging pillar hole to build a house. Now, people talking about Keith very arrogant when he speak. The ignorant, Dr. Mitchell, ignorant. Them they saying he ignorant. I didn't say he ignorant. The kind of things that going on in the party that he hearing and listening what people say, that making him very angry. When he knows that in the days when the party was forming with Dr. Watson, Danny William and them, that man used to have so much pressure under them when he talking about he want to make the poor people, the vulnerable as they say, to move from one point to the other. That man used to cry, when meeting going on for studying the poor people. Dr. Mitchell had a long, he used to suffer a lot. Thinking about for the poor people. Right? You hearing me?
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay? Right. Used to do that. Then, because he holding an appeal. But when I getting a feedback, getting a feedback.
All right,
Hello?
Color. You just have to go ahead talking.
Getting a feedback.
Yeah, I think you kind of breaking up. Sorry, you're kind of breaking up. I don't know what you're calling from.
I'll call back.
Yeah. Yes, the NNP, after 1983, the Americans, and we hope, that's what we believe, and Caribbean leaders realized, you had the GDM, you had the GNP, you had the CDLP. The GNP was Mr. Blaze. The CDLP was Winston White. George Brizan had a party. The businessman encouraged George Brizan to start a party. They said they would support him. The Americans and the Caribbean people realized that Gary go beat them bad in the polls. If they go with this fracture, they decide Gary go beat them. And for some reason, a number of people felt that if Gary win back election, he could take out vengeance on people. So the Caribbean leaders, Eugenia Charles, Siaga, Mitchell and Compton and them, Barbados, Tam Adams, decided to encourage the parties in Grenada to join up to fight Gary. So they brought them in one of the St. Vincent Islands. And they brought them there. They took all the leaders, or those in the leadership position. Winston White went, but Winston White didn't agree. So during the election, we had the NNP, which Grenadians thought then was fully supported by the Americans and Caribbean leaders. They brought down a plane for them to campaign. First time, and that is the only time in Grenada history, a plane flying in the air and a long tail saying who to vote for. People believe that the Americans are going to support the NNP. The GULP got 36 point something % of the votes, 14,000 and something. And the NNP got 23,000 something votes. And the Gulf, Grenada United Labour Party win one seat. That was Marcel Peters. So the NNP, to start the NNP was seriously influenced by outside forces. But a lot of people in Grenada believe that if Gulf win the election, they might have vengeance. And at that time, if they had run as individual parties, Gulf would have murdered them. Gulf has some little mic. You hardly could hear what they say. They practically intimidate them and bully them, into submission. And the NNP under Mr. Blaze was a lot of conflicts and confusion. Francis Alexis and George Brizan and Finsley St. Louis and Tillman Thomas and them move out from Mr. Blaze. And in the convention, Keith Mitchell evolved as a leader. He beat Mr. Blaze. When people went and vote, they vote for Keith. They did not vote for Mr. Blaze. Mr. Blaze was disappointed, and he unilaterally started a party the night. No democracy. He said the National Party. Ben Jones and them never bothered too much. The next election, the TNP got 2 seats. The NDC, I think, got 4 seats. The NNP got 2 seats. And I think the GOLP got 4 seats. But it was able to forge a relationship with the NDC and GOLP and TNP. And that is how they formed the government. So that was the intrigue of the party. But Dr. Keith Mitchell, leading NNP, brought stability to it. And I've said before on many occasions, and I will continue to say it on many occasions, whether you like Keith Mitchell or not, he is the most successful politician and the most successful political leader in Grenada and the Commonwealth. He is the only political leader that lead a party that win election on 3 occasions and win all the seats, all 15 of the seats. And although he won 15 of the seats, that is my opinion now, he never flaunted the power. I believe he treated the power cautiously. And in the last 2 elections, the last 10 years of NNP, is the best performance of a political party in politics in Grenada. No one could have pointed strong fingers at any one of them and call them corrupt. No one. The leaders was humble. They lived frugal lives, and they genuinely tried to close corruption door. The government passed legislation to discipline politicians. They start up FRAC, and Richard Duncan was in charge of FRAC. NNP put a known opponent in charge of FRAC. Some people say, well, NNP get mad. But I thought all this was an effort to get it right, and I applaud it. Richard Duncan was in charge of FRAC. And if you know politics in Grenada, you know Richard Duncan, Ray Roberts, some of them, they have no, where Keith Mitchell is concerned, they don't meddle with it. So he put one of his opponents in charge of FRAC. And it's not easy for any political party in the Caribbean. I don't know of none of them that acted that way. In addition to that, that was the period of time when I heard the harshest criticism against human beings. And those who were criticizing the government then were embraced, endorsed, and applauded by the NDC. They even cursed the church. They said the church sucking the anus of NNP. I was so disappointed that the NDC did not disassociate themselves with this set of utterances and language. Instead, the NDC has become that. They see people as classless, commoners. The demeaning language used by members of the echelon, the top echelon, the leadership of the NDC is objectionable, is unacceptable. And to add fuel to the fire, the Prime Minister of Grenada is inciting violence. And I don't know how reasonable and objective people could support that. You see, Maurice Bishop went to Simon in the People's Court and he signed a warrant for the arrest of Eric Gary. And maybe for 14 or 15 days, there was serious discussion among the Garyites and the GNP. How could our opposition arrest the Prime Minister? Well, you know, GNP and the alliance in those days, they use language that the NDC using now. They call you stupid, cadaver, stinking Garyite. The most demeaning and insulting language came from their mouth. So when Maurice Bishop and his crew come up in Grenville and they get some lash, sorry they didn't get moved. They incited violence and they deserve it. Maurice Bishop's father died by violence. And Maurice Bishop accused Gary henchmen. But Leslie Pierre disagreed with it. And Leslie Pierre was then a strong supporter of Bishop. Based upon the statement and utterances of Leslie Pierre, Maurice Bishop's father was shot by friendly fire. And he was shot in Otway House by friendly fire. Maurice Bishop was a criminal. He told lies all the way. He hid behind women and children. No hero. If somebody attacked the house and the father go under the bed while the mother grab a bun pan, the children pull broom and they're ready to fight, and they was able to keep the attacker out and the father under the bed. That is a brave father. All of you who want to turn Bishop into a hero, is that a brave father? Yes, scholar, welcome.
Hi, good day, Mr. Pierre. How are you doing, sir?
Great, man.
Based on the information that's provided for me and the facts, I've been listening to your program. I think personally that Keith Mitchell should be a hero in Grenada. That's just my personal opinion as a Grenadian citizen, because based on the record he has before him and what he has done for the Grenadian people, he, among a lot of people, should be a hero too,
Okay.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Well, based upon the politics in Grenada, we have had only two successful politicians, Eric Matthew Gary and Keith Mitchell. That is the only two clear, undisputed, successful politicians in Grenada. Eric Matthew Gary and Keith Mitchell. One of the big differences between Eric Matthew Gary and Keith Mitchell, Gary never go to a secondary school. His highest level of education, institutionalized education, was a school living. And Keith Mitchell reached the highest level in education. So the quality of education you have doesn't make you a jackass. The quality of education you have doesn't make you arrogant. You could go back and claim and quote Albert Einstein. Keith Mitchell has reached the top Where education is concerned, you have a PhD. And Gary had a school living. The youngest certificate you could have in intelligentsia in Grenada is a school living. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Sapir,
Yes, man.
you could say why you want
Always
about
the
my
radio in the back. The radio, turn on the radio and then turn on the
say why you
radio.
want
Turn on the radio.
Mr. Pierre,
Caller, turn on the radio in the back and call me back. Turn on the radio in the back and call me back. And when you call my program, you could say what you want to, and I could say what I want. Once you wouldn't get me in front of the court because I'm financially embarrassed, I'm suffering from monetary instability. And once we are respectful, this program, you have permission to say what you want and you don't have to agree with me. But when I speak, I want to speak the truth. And I have a piece of manje kosher rope for those who dare challenge me. So today, the caller that I challenged was for us to start the program today. He's telling me Bishop is a hero. And I tell you, Bishop is a common criminal. The end did not justify the means. The airport that Maurice Bishop built, yes, is he that built the airport. But he did not do the preparatory work. He come and meet the work done already. They've named Maurice Bishop Highway, Gary that built it. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yes, scholar, welcome. They named Maurice Bishop Highway, Gary that built it. And Gary come and land a plane, not he that was piloting the plane, in a little plane, and he land on it. They criticize Gary so much. They say you can't build an airport there. You go destroy the salt pan. So Gary come with a little plane and he land on the Maurice Bishop Highway. And he say, you see, plane could land here. They don't know what they're about. They don't know what they're about. And when Maurice Bishop take over the country, they continue with the same plan and build the airport. People let it lie. You see, after 1983, people say, let's forgive and move on. Grenadians did not want restorative justice. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre,
Yes, my brother.
you could say what you want about my bishop. My bishop is a champion, was a champion in Grenada, and he is on the $50 bill. Nobody can change that. Maybe in the next century, he is a hero. Let me tell you, Mr. Pierre, 200 years from now, any talk you hear is about Maurice Bishop become a leader. You hear not about Gary and Kid Mitchell and them and they need all you're hearing on heroes there is Maurice Bishop, a hero, is there a hero, and he was a hero. That's one of the greatest prime minister who are passing Grenada here. Kid Mitchell, all you can say all you want. He was the greatest. So you have a good day.
Yes, scholar, thank you. And in politics, you're going to have that. I tell people Columbus discovered the Caribbean. Columbus revealed to the Europeans a land that was already in existence. But the Europeans didn't know. I hear some Africans saying they hide their history. I say, who is responsible for propagating the African history? You expect the white man to propagate your history? Why you didn't propagate your history? The African want to blame people for not propagating their history. What kind of stupidness is that? The black man want reparation from London. England was slaves too. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre. Some people will credit the revolution for a few economic gain. But the hero behind the economic gain of the revolution was Bonaparte. And a lot of people in Grenada is that Bonaparte is a wicked man and Bishop was a saint. And that's the worst statement anybody could make. Thank you.
Yes, scholar. And that is why I challenge them and I dare them. And when I challenge you, I work on in manje kosher rope. Because if you're going to propagate bishop on economic grounds, then you have to give it a code. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Yeah. Mr. Pierre, in the next 200 years from now, you're going to still hear Grenadian people will say the cow jump over the moon and eat grass on top of the roof. They will always say all sorts of things. But to many, you're going to hear some breeze through the phone because here where it's kind of breezy. You're going to hear all sorts of things, and that is his opinion. But to many who had also leave Grenada and run it only the clothes on the back, you can't tell these people and them that is a hero for them. Many who he sent in jail, who he ill treat, you can never say that was a hero for them. You cannot say that. Name me one school Bishop built.
I think they finished a
Could
school
anybody?
and they wanted to call it Kakadimo Grand School. In fact, they build this signboard and some old people bawl, oh God, Kakadimo is devil shit. So they call it Grand.
You understand?
You know,
So,
you ever hear about Kakadimo Grant? Kakadimo Grant was an orator too. Maclean Pope was an orator. Wally, Wayward, all these individuals was orators. But Maurice Bishop was tall, he was red, he was a liar, and he come from the privilegencia.
So in all, when we're talking about education, all when they say Bishop do for education and he lifts the education standard. He didn't build one school.
The two masters in education in Grenada is Eric Gary and Kit Mitchell. The St. George's University say Kit is the president. And more scholarship was given in Kit period than in any other matching period in Grenada history. And that is a fact.
So when we're talking about education and nation building, we talk about these two men, Keith Mitchell and Eric Gary. Say what you want, like him, love him, hate him, dislike him. You cannot stop what he has accomplished for nation building. Now, when you're talking about a hero, did Bishop celebrate independence under his regime?
No, he didn't celebrate independence. And he hide behind women and children. Bishop treat women very, very badly.
Call him a hero? Why? Why would you call somebody what
he was a communist,
a hero?
He didn't believe in God. He was a communist.
Oh, exactly. I could have remembered Mr. Pierre during the 83 invasion, the demonstration. I could have remembered I was a little boy then, I was 10 years old. And the vast majority of people was demonstrating in Guav alone. 90% was school children, primary and secondary school children. Yes, he had adults in it, but the vast majority was school children.
Yes, scholar.
And what you said about the school children you were very right.
Yes, scholar. Time flies when we speak in the truth. When you speak in the truth in Grenada history, time flies. I would say to children, don't waste time with history in school. Don't waste time with that. Study physics, chemistry, biology, maths, French and Spanish, music and English. Don't waste time studying history. And we have some big hardback boys now. When you meet them, you ask them what they're doing. They're telling you C and T, F and N, H and M, POB, all sorts of nonsense. Our boys are losing it in school. They're not doing a good job. And then we have individuals who sit down like snakes in political party. They don't want to work hard. They don't want to do the work. They're quiet. They would never speak on controversial issues for fear. Some people dislike them, and they like snake in a grass. Kennedy said they're feeling in sleep. Kennedy described them as snake in a grass, feeling in sleep, waiting for you to make mistake, for them to take an opportunity. We must know the truth. We must know the truth. If you don't want to know the truth, you're going to stand the consequences. And those of you who are NNP, you must know the truth too. That is why the Prime Minister could say nothing was done in Grenada since 1983, and you don't hear a hue and cry. Because some individuals in political party, but they don't know. And falsehood does move fast. And the NDC have a history of planning lies. My friend, I'm sorry you didn't get the opportunity to call me today. I really thought you would, but maybe something happened. But I'm prepared to discuss this issue with you because I believe Maurice Bishop was a coward. He hid behind women and children. He deceived every sector of the society. The privilegencia. When people go to talk to Bishop and beg him not to be so cruel, he threatened the lawyer. The lawyer nearly peaced him. And although Maurice Bishop and them claim they had empirical evidence for the propaganda, disinformation, and lies they put out, they never challenge it in court. Ask yourself why. Bishop and a barrage of lawyers afraid to take Gary to court. They lie in the Duffers Commissioner report. Radek said if it wasn't for Innocent Belmar, the leader of the opposition would not have been alive today. Selwyn Strachan would not have been alive. I would not have been alive. He called about 5 of them. Gary played for about 3 months on the radio, and he lied in the Duffers Commission. They never forgive Radix for that. The Alliance never forgive Radix for speaking the truth. Go to the village of Montrich and the surrounding village. Go and do your research there and find out from the people what was done to them between 1979 and 1983. Go to the village of Tivoli and the surrounding areas. Go to the family of Broco and ask them why Bishop castrated them. Why they pung out the police stores. Why? Bobby Clark was one of the men responsible for torture. He was a Bajan. So, caller, you didn't show up, but maybe something happened. Something must have happened because you had a lot of passion and you wanted to prove that the end justified the means. But I believe Maurice Bishop is a criminal and a coward. He's not a hero. And we're back with you tomorrow between 12 and 1 for another opportunity to punch